In this video, I really wanted to document the process that I went through of getting rid of my old concrete garage workshop type thing and replacing it with a much bigger wooden garage. The garage that you can see in front of you is approximately 5 metres long by just under 3 metres wide. It's got a really old rotting wooden door up and over thing that you can see there. You just can't get a car in it, and if you've seen any of the Plasti Dip videos that I've done where I've had to set up the 6x4 metre gazebo, it was such a pain in the neck having to do that every time, so I just really wanted a garage that I could actually get a vehicle into basically. So this video is just going to show how this thing you can see now gets demolished. You can see that I've had to get everything out of it, paint and wood and just stuff that's been collected over the years. Trying to find a place down the side there where all the stuff can go that's been in there for absolutely ages. Shelving units. And the cones that you can see, they're going to be, they basically show where the new garage is going to go. That's the footprint, so it's going to be completely different, facing completely different way and much bigger. So this part is where the builders that I've hired have come to take the concrete garage down. It took them about half a day to actually take the garage down. It had an asbestos roof as well, which I hope they disposed of correctly. It cost me 500 quid. Came round, did it pretty quickly, efficiently. Disposed of all the materials for me as well. They had to come back a little bit later on with a digger in order to dig up the concrete base. Took this chap about an hour, just fast forwarded it. So here's the devastation the next day. I painted the concrete base blue at some point, so that's why you can see loads of blue bits in there, but they've just smashed it all up into smaller sort of boulders. Some of this got taken away and then some of it was used to lay the new type MOT down. Here they're digging up the new area. 7.5 metres long by 4 metres wide, so significantly bigger than the previous footprint of the old garage, which was 5 metres by just under 5 metres long by just under 3 metres wide. This part of the process took quite a few days actually. So the digger's out here now, working overtime. Trying to get this it's quite a big area to be fair. Trying to get that deep enough. Getting some of the old concrete in there, and then at some point they start laying the damp-proof membrane and getting these wooden slats in place so that when the concrete is dropped into it, it's got something to settle up to. It was very expensive getting a lot of the excess kind of soil and rubbish taken away. The truck was charging me 250 quid each time. I think he had to come 2 or 3 times, so that was a bit of an unexpected expense during the process. So the guys have got the base ready now, ready for the concrete laying. It was really disorganised, if I'm honest, at this point. They only had one worker here, and he was trying to do all this work on himself, and then he had to call in a couple of his colleagues to come and help. They hadn't really prepared that tool that they're now trying to flatten the surface out with, so, and the concrete was setting quite quickly. It was a bit of a panic really. So it wasn't well organised at all, and you can see later on that the finish isn't great. They did get it flat though, so that the surface is relatively straight, relatively flat. It's just the finish is pretty bad. The concrete cost me about 650 quid to get delivered and put in place. In the meantime, I had Quick Gardens. I'll put a link to their website in the description. They delivered the garage for me, and it came on two or three massive pallets. I think the lead time on that was about 3 weeks. I got it in a sale. It was £6,500 at the time. So it is big. It's a big garage. It's, like I said, 7.5 meters long by 4 meters wide. I'd really recommend them though. Their customer service was absolutely great. They're not pushy at all. They're not salespeople trying to flog you anything they can. They were really patient with me. It did take me a while to choose the one that I wanted. It basically comes flat packed and also untreated, so I was very lucky that we had a good window of decent weather here to get the garage installed. 2 workers that you can see there, it took them 2 days to get the garage put in place from scratch, you know, from unpacking everything, laying it out, making sure that everything's numbered correctly. That was all done in the front of the house, and then they had to bring it into the back of the house and then build it from there. So that took them 2 days, and then the roof and all the waterproof tiling on top of that took them a full day. So I've just tried to film from above. I think the GoPro ran out of batteries at this point, so I'm filming from the bedroom window. Got the GoPro plugged in. Seems to be turning slightly to the right every sort of 10 or 15 minutes or so, so I was going back in and just trying to recalibrate it. But you can see that they're getting towards the end of the actual building of all the walls. They've got the windows in place there, they've got the doors. It's double glazed glass as well, so yeah, decent quality. Absolute mess there where the old garage was. You can see all the soil and rubble and stuff. Guys are still working. They wanted to basically just, this is the second day, they wanted just to make sure that roof was kind of up and in place. Cat coming to say hello. Yeah, they wanted to get that roof in place so that if it did start raining, there would at least be some protection for the insides, which have not, like I said, none of it's been treated at this point. One of my daughters coming out to inspect the build.
Hi Pi, what do you think of the garage?
Just making sure everything adheres to building regs, obviously.
You're actually on, that's where the roof's going to be.
Just giving you a bit of an idea about the actual size of what it's like inside.
Yeah.
So there's the finished article. It's not been treated at this point and the roof isn't quite finished yet. So the garage is up and running at this point, it's fully built, and now I wanted to paint the concrete base, so I've used this Everest concrete sealant and paint in a grey. Just found the biggest bucket that I could find and just stirring that around. I've already treated the garage, the concrete base, sorry, the garage floor, the concrete floor by this point, and I treated that with a UVPA glue and water mixture, so it was like half UVPA glue and half water. So you can see when I'm walking in here it's got like a bit of a glossy finish, and that was just to try and get rid of the kind of dusty, sandy feel of freshly laid concrete. So there was 4 coats of that done. Each coat didn't take long to do, but it took like half a day to dry. So again, that was the best part of another weekend in order to get it to this stage where I could then put this grey concrete primer and paint on top of it. It goes on quite easily, quite nicely. I did 2 coats of it in the end, and 2 coats gave it pretty good coverage. So just a quick walk around. There's the outside. just started treating it there, I think, at some point, so it's looking a little bit sort of dark, a little bit golden. I was treating it with an oil-based wood preserver. So this is just a video to show kind of like the size of the inside. When it's empty, it feels a lot bigger. So 7.5 meters long, 4 meters wide. If you think the average car is generally about 4 meters long and 2 meters wide, then when I get the vehicle in, there should be plenty of room either side in order to do whatever tinkering or painting and doing brake calipers and that sort of thing that I want to do. So I just got the windows and the doors open at this point, just doing the cutting in at the sides. Didn't take long, to be honest. The concrete paint went down really easily. You can see how poor the finish is in this picture. Very wavy, but at some point I want to invest in some decent garage mats anyway. I bought a couple of these things from Amazon, big corner units, so I can store all paint and tools and whatnot. They're really easy to put together, took about an hour each, and they hold so much stuff. So I had to treat the inside and the outside with the wood preserve, like I said. 2 coats on the inside, I used a spray gun, and then on the outside with a bit of help there was 3 coats where we just hand painted everything and let it soak in for a day. So 24-hour kind of absorbing time. Gonna have to do that every year, which is obviously the downside of ordering a wooden garage rather than building a sort of brick structure. But at the same time, because it's a certain height, it's just under the building regs, so you don't need to get planning permission for it. It's deemed to be a temporary structure. All in all, with taking down the old garage, creating a new sort of concrete base, building this garage, buying this garage, all the labour involved cost me around about 11k. So, you know, not a project to take lightly. It's quite a big investment. It's something that I had to save up for. But yeah, something that I've wanted for a long time. So if anybody's watching this is looking to do something similar, I'd say definitely go ahead with it. I've already had a number of sort of projects, sort of bicycle based and car based that I've done. I'll try and document those at some point in the future. But yeah, looks great. They tried to keep the wood looking natural with the oil-based preserver that was a clear. So people compliment us on having this sort of wooden garage in the back. And if you're going to do something similar, best of luck. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description for Quick Gardens. Definitely recommend those guys.